Welcome everyone to another Linux live stream here on our channel. Ever wondered what the licensing and stuff fees of other allegedly broken Enterprise Linux versions? Fear no more. Welcome to T2 23.1 release out here of X or ISO something, ISO generation fame. I think I'm hopefully finally done with improving our installer significantly. The one thing I would theoretically find out if we can detect auto detect serial console here. That would be amazing. Also, I just probably quit the wrong window here. Recurring theme live on this channel. So what I improved here is previously our setup tool one. Relatively simple thing, and yes, maybe completely modernizing that is for another year, but for now greatly improved. Previously you could install T2 on LVM stuff because this installer is quite unintrusive and you could manually do all kinds of trickery and setup, but what is now integrated took quite some hours here and there, night and lunch breaks and stuff, is now fully integrated LVM, logical volume management stuff here in this installer setup tool 1 framework. So how this works is that now all those LVMs, physical volume groups and logical volumes directly show in here more complete. So I previously partitioned this a little bit. So this also I improved some other stuff, like now this instead of showing what did it show, it showed you something, maybe an empty, whatever it showed. It actually I could theoretically check. It showed there something of not maybe not detected or something. I also took the opportunity to improve some small things, like now crypto Luke stuff is showing up as crypto Luke and not like small little details. So how do you use volume groups? Also, like if you're new to this stuff, this is not only software RAID, which I personally don't use MD RAID anymore for a decade already. What I also use, so logical volume management is not only about RAID, it's also about flexible allocation, like much more flexible allocation than quite statical old-fashioned partition or BSD slice tables. So that you can have, you initialize, or like you dynamically manage your storage out of these partitions and can flexible resize, expand, extend, cache and RAID those in whatever crazy flexible ways you want, including thin provisioning and snapshots, which probably I should also integrate here. So the way this works here in T2 is now, by the way, do I have, yeah, so I deleted that previously. This is like from my testing, right? So normally you would partition this, like, but I don't need to show you how to create 3 partitions. It is advised to use some Linux LVM type for the partitions, but yeah, you don't really need to use Windows NT, OS2, it doesn't matter too much, except that it looks nice here. And then what is new? So half of the stuff is new, and I also rephrased some wording. Actually, theoretically, this label could be longer, like partition VD2. Anyway, so what is completely new is now create physical LVM volume. All right, this was already created. And then adding that to add physical LVM volume to volume group. If you have any comments to improving this wording, leave in the comments below. I'm wondering if I should leave this LVM out because I have physical LVM to volume group. Maybe without LVM all over the place, it is even nicer. So we don't have any volume group, right? You could put here whatever. We defaulted to volume group 0. So if that doesn't exist, it is created. You quickly throw a blinking there. VG0 created. Now it is shown. So previously we show here where the stuff is mounted. So this is shown now as VG0 because this is now mounted or in use of volume group 0. Then we of course want more in there, right? So we can do that here too, add physical volume. So by default, you could use here another one, right? You can also use this, name this, whatever. So what happens if this group exists it is extended, so it's added, right? So of course you can do this all on the command line, but of course having this a little bit integrated certainly is what enterprise users want, except they also probably want a web overview. So what is next? Probably a web backend for this stuff, right? Fancy web 3.0 with NFTs and stuff. So of course we want more volume groups at that too. And what that does here in the back is that now we have volume group 0 with 3 active physical volumes, and nicely managed and done by that. Again, previously you could do this in Tito, of course, already if you used all this stuff on the command line. But of course, this is way, even with this very thin abstraction, which I personally love. Leave in the comments below if you love that. Leave in the comments below. You can also activate, so now this is shown logical volume here. So this is now shown new because we just created that. You can also delete it, obviously. So all this stuff here is new, right? All this share, like, subscribe, Patreon, GitHub. Also LVM2 on your PS3 or SGI, Octane. Leave in the comments below, share, like, subscribe, all the good stuff. So of course you can rename this. So if you are not, by default, to make things easy, if you create a volume group and you basically YOLO don't care about the name. So if you create something, I wondered whether I should always show a dialog, hey, what is the name? But mostly people maybe don't care, so create write 5. So this is the maximum size, which often is inaccurate. Also, this is like the maximum total size. Maybe I should, but I don't divide that by the write level. So some common sense is necessary. 8 gigs here. And now we have, maybe I should actually display the type here. Maybe that would be cool. So I decided I don't ask for the name. If you care about the name, like you could just install and use that, right? Because you're YOLO, who cares about your LVOL0 name. If you care about the name, just rename it. And because I wanted to add rename here anyway. And so like, there, if you care about the name, leave in the comments below. Should I always ask about the name? Do you care about the name of your logical volumes? That's that. And then of course you can, by the way, I could show you, let's also do a swap. Of course we want a high performance stripe swap of 2 gigs because so much space we have renamed that to, because obviously just for the maintenance and create a file system. Of course, we use high performance and compress better FS. We create a swap space. Another improvement, right? And that is this kind of stuff, right? For a decade, this could have been better. I personally, like, yeah, YOLO, whatever. It's not like I'm selling enterprise Linux, right? So basically, but no, we do, right? So don't delay. Buy and license much cheaper than other broken enterprise Linux. Today, right now, when this becomes a more viable business, then stuff needs to be more polished. What I changed also is that previously this menu was static and all the options always have been shown. Now I sparkled in there a little bit of shell scripting. So previously activating, swap and mounting a previously existing file system was always shown, which sucks, of course, a little bit, right? And now I changed that to only show those options. If it is a swap, show activate swap options, right? Previously it would have errored out, right? But of course, usability, that is the kind of stuff of, if you wonder, UI, user interface, and UX, usability, that is the difference of having this stuff really usable, right? So also, yeah, this is of course shown there, mapper VG0 swap in case you talk on to your YouTube audience and forget what you actually wanted to do. Create a swap space there. And of course this shows here, right? VG0 root / it's a little bit shifted maybe. This is just the spacing there. It's like maybe I should optimize it a little bit, but whatever. So we have our right. We also need an EFI partition. And what I will also do next, maybe I will still do it. Also, fun fact, I will rebuild. I have T2 just built here. Epic thread ripping through it, right? With my previous video overkill build here. I will probably redo that because now, of course, the last days of December kind of sort of makes no sense on just this day of year over roll increment overflow to release a Linux distribution named number 22.12, which we targeted 22.10. I guess I rebuilt everything just for the version number and the new installer and label that 23.1, obviously, right? So, and then we have a fresh year, a fresh start, New Year resolution. You want a better enterprise Linux. There you have it. We need a fat partition. So the next thing I will probably do, maybe I will even do it like tomorrow or so. And don't forget to share, like, and subscribe to support all this attention to detail and dedication. I will probably add a entry partition this device like optimized or like bootable for this architecture, or like I have whatever wording, right? Usability partition, or like initialize and lose all data. I need to work on the wording like in a bootable way for this architecture, like PowerPC, SG Octane, like all those crazy architectures and their initial program loader boot requirements that even I start to forget, right? So obviously we need a fully initialized partition and lose all data in a bootable state for this crazy architecture. So create another file system here of Z. And by the way, I wonder if Z is there. Also, if you have multiple, so if this is active, so this is a physical LVM volume, right? Of course, T2, like all of this is new, right? That now the installer script is intelligent and knows that this is an active physical volume. So I want to remove that. It will anyway, so this will fail because it's the only active physical volume in this volume group. I mean, it's like, yeah, it's like in use, yeah. But that you could do that if you have had multiple and you wanted to change that. I will not. So the reason is it's just too much replicating logic of what is possible and not. Theoretically, you could, I mean, anyway, you could duplicate this functionality and behavior and stuff, but I see no point of, it is simply too complicated in really complex LVM setups to determine whether, like, sure, if you have one physical volume, yeah, but otherwise the logic would be quite substantial. So boot EFI VG0 and then install the freaking system. Fingers crossed. I of course tried this multiple times over the last days. I always found one more thing that didn't work. I need actually to check. I still haven't tested. It probably should work if you encrypt the root volume. I also implemented, and I didn't make a video about each things. I also implemented swap and resume from disk from LVM. So now that if you have your swap on VG0-swap in whatever RAID setup, and you suspend to that now with the T2 default installation, it will actually resume from disk from LVM as long as the Linux kernel supports it in this configuration. So, of course, our trusty test password, Europe, kind of Berlin, and so that initializes it here with root LVM. I was debating with myself, should I change that to root by UUID? Usually with like classic partitions, we use UUID, but I personally, like recently, new on this channel, right? But I'm not the greatest fan of UUIDs because they're just so long and error prone and stuff. And because it would, of course, streamline the setup of like always look up this stuff by UUID. However, I decided against it for two reasons. One is our init ID would not instantly know that this UUID is LVM, so it would not know that it has to activate that volume group. But the other reason is also like it would make things like we would need additional markings and whatever I would invent and come up with. And then I thought it's not worth, like, my philosophy here, keeping stuff stupid simple. What was it even? You get the idea. Moskis keep it stupid simple. Anyway, kind of the slogan here, right? And minimal and stuff. And like why use a UUID if it makes stuff more complex? Also, I always for a decade I didn't use UUIDs because I always hated this long random numbers. And I only recently converted to that because modern systems with all the storage and removable storage and supporting booting from removable storage and random PCI numbering and stuff, I get it. It gets it's not stable to have SDA or stuff, right? And so for normal partition booting stuff, UUID is actually quite useful. Also maybe by label would be a little bit nicer, theoretically maybe. But so because LVM naming is more verbose, I decided no, I'm not going. It makes the boot code more complex and it makes it less readable and maintainable for the user. And so my philosophy here is now, if you use logical volume management, you want readable names, and your readable names are like volume group whatever, or like big fat S storage / root or whatever you use for your naming. And so then I would want to keep this naming, right? I would not want to use some bloody UID of 0, A, B, 1, 2, 3, whatever, random bullshits. Like, yeah, it makes stuff easier and it's more readable. So thumbs up from me, right? So yeah, this is a QEMU thing in this configuration, YOLO, whatever. And the biggest invention since sliced bread is that now, in a second, also like why is updating MIME database taking so long, like modern desktop Linux. But this is the biggest, best invention since sliced bread ever. I also implemented taking my mouth where my money, where my mouth is and stuff, and our business customers. I now reboot the installer with kexec. Like why I have not done this for 10 years, I don't know. But so this in text installer, this like humble looking, just some 100 lines of like, also why do we script this in shellcode? Like, hey, which other distribution installer is just using a couple of 100 lines of literal readable shellcode for the installer? And it literally only took like 5 or so or 6 lines of freaking code. The installer is registering the installed kernel with kexec and the kernel's init and the command line. So do you want to unmount the file system and reboot now? So this was old, but the new trick is with kexec, right? And it's like, voila, we are booted. With LVM2, with freaking kexec in your first class developed, open, live here on this channel, now enterprise ready Linux distribution. And the only thing is, this is a huge time saver, right? Especially in data center. Sure, you don't test installing, which you can obviously still test installing, but like on a data center, on a massive rollout and automating this stuff and so on. But even at home, right? All your potential minute-long AMD, AM5, Intel, whatever, LGA platform, 12th gen, whatever, DDR5, memory training and stuff, we're already booted. I love this. This is coming. I mean, I knew this is the best release of T2. Just simple freaking working Linux on all architectures ever. But man, do I like this stuff. And obviously, I've used previously LVM2 on all our data center virtualization and server install and stuff. But I've always liked, yeah, YOLO, whatever. Normal user, don't use it, playing along at home, and I can just PV create and stuff. But yes, I agree. It is nicer. We can test reboot. So yeah, this is all live and stuff. Do we even have anything? AMD KVM and stuff. So a test reboot. So there I had the typo previously. It might be that more. This is maybe not going to work. We also need to reboot because this is I want here boot manager Z. Okay, it worked. So final, I can commit this last typo fixed. All right, wait a second. This is also with QEMU. Maybe one last thing I probably should, maybe even before releasing this to the public and enterprise users and stuff. Also, yeah, support LVM. Oh wait, LVM on. Actually, we can test that as everything. What did I wanted to? All right. Reuse or something, manually installer supplied console equals tty whatever for install. On some of our supported enterprise precision architecture RISC stuff, this actually works by default because that bootloader does automatically append console equals TTY. Also, maybe even on some open firmware platforms and stuff. So that is mostly a grub2 Intel thing. So last but not least, installer. We can theoretically test. So one last thing, maybe that needs a little bit last minute fixing. I tested with crypto mount and stuff. One more thing, let's encrypt it. So we rebooted. So this is obviously, there is no state. The shell scripting and stuff just takes it from the running system. And also, like, if you have previously, like, I was wondering if I should activate all of those, and I intentionally have decided not to, because my philosophy here is also keep it stupid simple. And like, not only if the Linux kernel stuff doesn't activate it by default, then so is also our T2 installer not doing to do so. And also, I was thinking whether I should, but I also decided not to. Like, I consciously and intentionally decided not to, because like, if you have a partially broken server with maybe some either failing NVMe or, God forbid, rotating magnetic storage stuff, like if you emergency rescue boot some stuff or so on, you probably don't want this stuff to become active, right? And this is why you can single activate and deactivate. So I went this extra mile of attention to detail in implementing this stuff here. So let's also crypt this here now, encrypt partition, yes please, and just usual test. And my coffee is also empty. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe, Patreon, all this good stuff for coffee. And we need to type enter, of course, for the decryption, because it is just Luke's crypto setup. And then, of course, we get another mapper here. So at the end, additional device mappers that are not in logical volume. Yes, I did. This required, as you could expect, quite some attention to detail and advanced shell scripting to get all of those combinations right. I mostly also did this now because I noticed, like, previously someone contributed some LVM stuff that was not working the most amazing. Plus, I recently changed this to show all device mappers. So it was some mostly not working. And with my changes, some device mapper duplicatedly listed stuff here, which I thought, now this is too broken. It is the first impression that new enterprise users and embedded users or home users get off the Linux distribution, one of the best Linux distributions. And so it shouldn't be that broken, right? It should work some halfway decent. So currently not mounted and empty. Create a file system, of course, BetterFS. Yes, I tested with ext4 and XFS today, at least on the non-encrypted cases, and that, of course, worked. And then we also need to create a file system. Of course, we have a file system, but I want a fresh one for the most pristine testing. And we can also just say this is theoretically not correct. So I could theoretically, like, if you license business Linux enterprise there, and or shall I subscribe, I could theoretically list partitions like Luke's crypto mount partitions as active and still 2 if I ever have too much time, attention, detail, and more donations. And then activate activate a system swap. Also, the attention to detail and design decisions here is also that first come, like, except creating file system, but for creating and mounting, so it's not showing mounting a file system because there is not a file system on there. And otherwise, I usually try to show the non-destructive options first. So it is first activate an existing swap space and not create. So all of those have use existing first, just for like 50-50 chance increasing that you less likely wipe your data. So boot iffy / root and swap there, install this stuff once more. And yeah, I don't quite remember. Actually, maybe this might not work. I probably have some more. I think I have there. Do I? I probably need to stack this better in this code. Like, I guess I have the crypto or not. I'm actually, yeah, we will see. It might take one more iteration of shell script guru meditation, but that's what we are here for and what I run this YouTube channel for, to show a little bit how much work all this stuff is, what you can do and not, and the design and decision process. So yeah, it's showing this as crypto 0. That is, I need to think about that. Yeah, so this root is probably, this is not entirely amazing because it's showing this as DM6 as like, yeah, how many device mappers? Like 4, like 3 active, 1 more physical. Actually, do the physical? No, the physical volumes not show up. So we have a RAID and the images and swap and Luke's crypto mount. So yeah, this needs a little bit. Yeah, I will do this. Then we can, however, we can. So this will not boot, obviously. Like more. Why do I talk about this? Like, yeah, it is a lot of attention to detail. And also, it probably shouldn't be programmed the way I've programmed it. I only programmed it here like that in the existing framework. Theoretically, my advice would be to stack this a little bit more. Even in shellcode, you can like more generically write this instead of like the difference of hard coding all of stuff like if this and this and stuff, and instead of like more properly layering that. Like, I mean, even in C and C++, you could write shitty code like most Linux distributions installers, a little bit on the lower quality side of things. And like you could like often stuff in the Unix where just a lot of hard coding of if this then that and stuff, and instead of more generically stacking this on, and which you can do in any language, including shell, if you wanted to. But we can do, thanks to kexec, we probably can test resume. I guess it probably should work, at least. Does this? Actually, it might not even... what do I have here in kexec? Actually, it might not kexec even. Oh no, actually, wait a second. It's so it boots from, we need volume group, and yeah, it's a little bit complexity, right? What do I have here? No, actually, it might actually work. It depends. Problem is I can't really like control set disturb the shell scripting. It depends what is in the fs tab. And mapper root. I think that is not ideal. I guess I need to rewrite that somewhere. I think it should actually be mapper vg0. So yeah, a little bit of Z layering, fine-tuning is to be expected. And that is, of course, what you pay for when you license high-quality Linux distributions or support this channel. All this unloved work most people are not interested in doing. Actually, right. mt pin bash, and that should be vg0 root. At least I think that should be it. Yeah, this is actually this kind of things where actually this name does not correspond to like so much previous video, right? The modern Linux complexity things and the lack of coherence and integration, because after mounting that via some CryptoLux setup proxy, it will not be the mounted root, right? The mounted root will be another one. So yeah. Let's see, I guess, where is even was, oh no, this is, let's quickly check if this has a chance to work. Mod grub to, actually I have a unify non-crypt now, it's like, there are always more to do with, right? Quickly, wait a second. Is this even? This is even. I want to install. And we grab here. Actually, wait a second. I grab the mounted slash from MNT TCF. Actually, that is what I just edited. So maybe it works. Dev mapper, it should activate it. Hey, it even freaking works. I mean, except this. So yeah, this was kind of what I'm expecting from the top of my head. Why is even? Did I not change? Actually, wait a second. I thought, and that's also the point of the video. So not only, I hope you learned something of all the complexities, LVM2, device mapper, and CryptoLux, all this stuff adds together, right? Device mapper provides various means of linear, striped array, and also crypto. So all of the stuff is all in device mapper with LVM2 and loops encryption, and that obviously you need some install integration, all this stuff to just work, and all the surrounding initRD and suspend from LVM and stuff. I'm actually wondering, I thought I had changed, but apparently not. Yeah, I forgot to delete this. So I changed that, but I forgot, like I have now individual statuses here. Forgot to delete the there. So yeah, so that works. So the only thing is we probably should put this on the list of things to do before releasing the most amazing news version ever. So finish LVM Stone stuff, that is probably done, I would say. And then the only thing is fix grub to stone module 4 as stone, or even maybe even etcfs tab also for looks on LVM2. But last but not least, so yeah, that is the setup, right? And in mapper are quite some, right, for root, swap, and all the metadata, and control bitmap images. And actually, do I name this? Apparently I name this root, maybe potentially. Anyway, so this root thing is auto-magically for the crypto setup. So the one thing we wanted then to test, right? Let's do one thing. All right, wait. Boot grub, we need to, I mean, we don't need to, wait, do we? All right, so yeah, this thing does not work. It basically is mapper vg0 root. Although it is not the most important. I hope this is not messed up now, but as we are in here already. And yeah, obviously this integration would be nice, right? If you work on virtualization, data center, and other advanced light out management attached tools and dongles, or so integrated out of band management. So yeah, let's sync that. I once made the mistake, I didn't sync this. I think Linux didn't flush it then to disk. And then this power echo disk here. So that is now a dev mapper VG0 swap right striped LVM2 volume. And that should resume, I guess, if we didn't mess something up. So it's probably like, what? Oh, don't tell me we had the, darn. Probably also, all right, the crypto becomes, okay, so this is a implementation detail of, so basically can we probably config, manually do that for LVM 0. So this is what I just added to the to-do. All right, this is encrypted. Darn. Can we, so this expects device, right? Crypto mount, what was even the, if you're wondering what all the scripting is about, this is what it is all about. And I saw we have comments, I come back to them in a second, and welcome everyone. And question what we're working on. We're working on amazing logical volume management and encrypted storage for enterprise business or small home office NAS Linux. Crypto mount. So that is crypto mount. Where is it? Crypto mount U. So just crypto mount LVM. Let's check if that works like that. Valid pathways. I had this recently, so that is, maybe it can't, can it not? I wonder, I had this yesterday also, which, wait, is this, where did we boot from? So yeah, this is obviously not ideal. I wonder, maybe that is, maybe this is simply because it can't load some crypto modules. Yeah, so much to that now with this scripted. Can we somehow, we can probably check it with that though. Console TTY as 0. And then resume equals dev mapper, or without mapper VG0 swap. That probably should work, shouldn't it? Linux boot console resume. Let's see. Oh no, this did for some reason not work. It should have worked. What does it say? Why does it say VG swap unexpected operator dev mapper file not found? Good that we tested too. I would have expected that to work. Or did I, is there a chance I didn't regenerate the init RD? Let's try to decipher that. Unfortunately, it doesn't show. Do we have here any typo of VG change? But if you're wondering why we need to charge thousands of thousands of euro less than other commercial but way more broken enterprise Linux versions, like, yeah, it's time and stuff, right? So resume. If not access resume, and resume has some slash in there. And we have LV change, then does it even, it probably said that, right? Activating. No, it does not say activating. Why does it not say that? Is there a chance that this is an older init ID? I thought I had rebuilt that. Activating, because it doesn't say that, right? That's probably, maybe I try to debug. Let's see, does it make sense here? So we have resumed dev mapper, so mapper, this would be dev mapper. Do we have this extracted? Maybe this was overwritten. Was it? During extraction, do we still have the init around? Oh, we have the init around. Yeah, okay, this is an older version. So this should be, why is this not regenerated? Did I not? Maybe I didn't rebuild. So yeah, this bug probably is fixed already. I probably didn't had the Linux kernel rebuilt for some reason. So yeah, that is a pity to use the same init.rd for this testing. I need to debug then, so that, yeah, why are releases delayed? Because there's always one thing. Anyway, otherwise it is amazing, except this tiny little, but obviously how Steve Jobs or Larry Ellison will say you're installing that wrong, right? If you call this expensive support line, read the freaking manual and don't do it like that. So this is a little bit sad though. That means for testing I need to obviously, I wonder why. Let's better rebuild this and the Linux kernel. And then is there a new Linux kernel? While we are at it already, it isn't. And this will of course take 3 minutes or 4. Part of the problem KExec is that there isn't a good userland UX around it. Some shell scripts can be found around, but nothing turnkey. Yeah, so this is why Exacode and I here live on this channel make this an integrated turnkey solution. And of course I also changed our other general system init stuff to support this. So if you now at least manually kexec -l Linux kernel init kernel -- reuse command line and then shut down reboot your T2 Linux installation, then you will kexec into your new kernel without going through BIOS post. And I tested this of course as well. And I will fix this last implementation marginalities. There we can already commit the other stuff here. That is probably grub2. Did I apparently committed that already? And all right, this we want. Okay, init.rd we have. All right, removed. But that is testing, right? I've seen that scrolling by a couple of times and only now live on this channel. QA testing and quality assurance, and noticing that I still have that in there. And then last but not least, the installer parts. That actually, I committed this gradually, so that is just the last iteration, right? What does it take here? Just some GUI, yes, no, and testing LVS, PVS, no headings, output, VG name and stuff. Also selected devices. I would call this relatively readable shellcode, so that is finished or added PV or VG creation and other VM2 details to new external module. Edit VG creation. What else was that? That was LPV. Alright, this was deactivating. Something like that. Anything more to see? Alright, this is also only LV create if the user specified a size, like you could leave this blank if you want to cancel that. And well, this is actually show edit VG creation and reduction. Display volume group of PVs. So yeah, amazing stuff. I will finish wiring up the last encryption details. It's maybe as simple as reversing the order plus some testing. Famous last words. So I slightly wonder where grub is loading. I probably should also test, actually could do that if so if you know, if I googled and stuff but didn't find anything for detecting, I wish there would be some easy way of detecting serial console in grub 2. That would be amazing. Then I could automatically add that there and that would be solved. Then by the way, the T2 installer stuff intentionally comes with some bash history, so this term exterm and stuff is there in the history, plus some other goodies, like not much, like 4 or 5 entries or so. And so let's test that. I thought I tested that, like encrypt that new. This test, of course. And new, nothing like recreating this stuff 100th time. Let's test if but I wait, what? Did I apparently I must have damaged the ISO image or something. How did this happen? Yeah, so much testing, more testing probably. This is bizarre. How did I manage that? Probably I cropped it the ISO now for some reason. Anyway, I will finish this. A little bit curious now, this should have worked. So I need to test it anyway. I should double check where grub is loading the so many entries. Ah, darn. Ah, did I not? Ah, maybe I didn't mount it. Oh no, I did. That is bizarre, does it not? Or did I? Maybe I didn't. Alright, maybe I forgot to actually... Did I forgot to actually format that? Maybe I did. That is what our first class enterprise Linux email support is for, right? Obviously. Ah yeah, okay, I just didn't create a file system, obviously. Beginner mistake also at times happening. For me, maybe maybe there should be a sanity check that the root file system is mounted. Wouldn't that be a nice usability improvement? Somehow the to-do, as much as I work alive on this channel, the to-do is, the to-do only knows one way to go, right? LOL. So let's see if that, I thought I tested that, but if you don't have a proper electronic spreadsheet to go through, what you didn't mark as tested, of course, isn't tested. So that is, okay, this is done by UUID. So yeah, this should of course work. The question is, where does it? Maybe because some root prefix is not correct or overwritten. Because the support for that should be the same. So much to kexec. Okay, maybe last minute. Did I last minute destroy? Maybe last minute I destroyed support for Luke though, for some reason. And that is, ladies and gentlemen, what QA is for, exactly what Elon Musk is firing there at Twitter, but I also heard they don't pay for toilet paper, so... okay, so apparently, this is a recurring theme. I really hate this. I could swear that... So, I have the issue that... maybe that is... So I need to check what's going on here. Maybe the thing is, so maybe it's the same thing. And also I hate this grub usability. It, like redrawing everything, right? You don't see the error message because it just gives you, like, it clears the screen, like the worst usability situation, clearing this, like, amazing development of 20 years of grub, or 15 or whatever. But I guess it is path browse not correct. And unfortunately, this error message is also misleading. The usual times I had this is like passphrase not correct, as in crypto cipher not supported. So yeah, thanks for that. But I guess the actual issue is that it doesn't have here the modules to load. So maybe either we need to embed that, but maybe the even better thing would be to copy all those grub modules. I don't like all those embedding things. So maybe the better last minute fix would be here to copy all those grub modules in there. But yeah, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed this and learned something. T2 Enterprise storage support and instant kexec coming along nicely. Actually, should check how many more changes I have lingering around here. But anyway, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed this and learned something. As usual, would be amazing if you share, like, subscribe, Patreon, GitHub, sponsor, or YouTube membership, and all the other good stuff in between. And have a good day or night, and much success with your code projects or non-code projects. Basically your project, whatever they might be. Also, nothing like clicking some last minute merchandise here. Why is this so little? Why is here not? I really hate this web stuff when it doesn't show all of good merchandise. Can't click all good merchandise in here because it doesn't show on the YouTube list. Can't mix the stuff up anyway. That's it for this video. Have a good day, night, and see you next time.